it's kind of step out of the box. I've always been very humbled, and you don't want to put yourself out there too far. That's a internal feeling you have, just because you understand it can be taken away in a hurry, and you don't want to jeopardize anything. But you also want to share with people, some of your experiences, how you can get better. You want to learn from each other. I think that's probably the goal, and then just have a good time with it. Nothing's too serious. Something I learned along the way is you can't please everybody. There's so you just got to let things roll off. And share what you can, have fun with it, and don't take yourself too serious.
Interview prep, baby.
Pass the torch, man. Keeps getting better.
Record is live. So, Joe, how are you doing, man? Thanks for joining the podcast.
We're doing good. It's always awesome here in Tahoe.
Yeah, it's the best. It's my first time out here. It's a great vibe. Loving the town. We are in the Hard Rock Hotel, ACC Celebrity Golf Tournament, and we're going to chat today about hockey, your journey with TorchPro, and a little golf as well. But
yeah.
I want to throw it back to the very beginning. So you have a great underdog story, right? Getting to the NHL. And so you grew up in Plover, Wisconsin, small town, but obviously big hockey state, hockey town. Was the NHL and reaching the NHL always your goal?
I think it was always a dream. I think it's every kid's goal. You just don't know. It's such a long ways away that you really don't, not that you can't focus on it, but there's so many steps. And as a kid, you watch your idols, the players you love, and, you try to emulate them and do all those things and just go out in the driveway and play. You play a lot of ball hockey. With being in Wisconsin, it snows, it's cold. The older brother would always build a rink in the backyard, so you're out there for hours and just having fun, really.
Yeah, so you mentioned your idols. Who were some of your idols growing up?
I loved Brett Hall. He was one of the guys I loved to watch. He could score goals. Liked how he shot the puck, and I probably didn't even realize that, one of the strengths of my game is just how I can see the game and think the game, and not being the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. I don't think I ever understood how important that is in that game, and it's probably a key element to, being successful at a high level. But with Hall, watching him now and knowing some of the things I know now is just like how he could get lost on the ice, how he could arrive on time into holes, and then his release obviously was elite.
Yeah, and some of the best part of your game is tipping in front of the net, right? So where did that come from?
Yeah, that just kind of developed as we went. Always had pretty good hand-eye.
Yeah.
Loved the little backyard games, baseball, golf, anything kind of with a stick and a ball was fair game for me. And I think just playing, driveway hockey, just having fun with it. The hand-eye slowly developed over time, and then the tipping. That was something that just kind of happened. I always thought I, could bat a puck out of the air and get a puck on it, but the level that I got to, I wouldn't have ever thought, and never even really thought to try to get to that level.
Yeah.
And I guess the backstory with it is, it's kind of a long story, but I got hurt, I think in 2010. It was an Olympic year. First go around of like your name's being thrown around, that, you're on their radar. And, so you go in to every game that summer training. It's just in the back of your mind to, not waste a second out there. And I think it was the second game of the year. I blocked a Getzlaf slap shot right on the foot and broke my foot. So I was out, and it was after a couple of weeks of, just working out in the gym. I was getting bored. I had a good story from Jay Woodcroft. He came over that year or the year before from Detroit, and he was with Lindstrom. And if you think of Nick Lindstrom, you think, obviously all his playmaking, but you try chipping a puck in by him and he bats it out of the air. And he shared a story with me how when he was young, he would bounce a ball on a door in his mom's kitchen. And, so fast forward 2 weeks of being bored, we set up, I propped the foot up, and I was with Potenza and our strength coach in San Jose, and we just throw some balls on the ground. I started kind of just bouncing it, and next thing it was just a way for me to kind of stay engaged with the hands and get out of the bench press and everything. you know, I get back from my injury and I'm back checking, a pass comes through the middle and I just bat it down. And I was just kind of like, well, you know, get it around the net and tip one. My stick's getting on everything. And it was, so I kind of stayed with that summer, that year as part of my warm up, stuff like that. And was able to get to a high level. And then, you know, building off that, Burnsy came a few years later. Yep. And, you know, we would go out and shoot pucks in the morning, and then he would shoot them from the point, and I'd go and tip them, and we kind of just developed that chemistry. And you know, you have a little success on the ice in a game, it was, you know, we start talking about certain things in practice and spots we can get to, and I'm out there, and he's looking for me every chance, you know, so I'm getting more opportunities, and he's elite at how he can deliver a puck, you know, to an open guy, to a stick. You know, I can be protected guy on me, and he knows I can get my stick in the area, and he's putting it there. He was elite, and it kind of just built from there, and working with guys. And you know, it's very frustrating when that puck comes and you miss it, because you know it's an opportunity to score a goal, you know, makes a save, maybe get an assist, just keeping plays live.
Yeah, it's all about mastering the details, right? The small things that matter.
Yeah, and it's something, you know, it's fun for me. I like that stuff, and you find ways to have success in other areas, and that was an area I was able to build in.
Yeah, so it's been cool to see over the years some of those cool tips. But how is your role in the locker room? I think you just finished up your 17th year, right, in the NHL.
Yeah, 16.
16. So coming up on 17. How has your kind of role in the locker room changed over the years?
You know, as a young guy coming into the league, you don't realize how lucky you are when you come into a strong locker room. You know, I step into the locker room in San Jose, and you got Thornton, Marlowe. You know, first few years there were all kinds of guys, Robbie Blake, and then all the supporting cast of Ryan Close and, you know, Mike Greer, Curtis Brown, some of these old guys. My first 11 games in the American League with Matthew Darsh and Scott Ferguson, you're around these old guys, and you're trying to learn everything you can from them. And looking back, just how good they were to me and how they took care of me. And so you're trying to help out, and as you know, have success and you become a piece, you understand, you just want guys to help and work hard and put the work in, put an honest effort in. And so I kind of caught on that fairly early, and you know, that was a big thing. Just be a good teammate, help out, put the time in, work. And from there, you know, as you get older and you feel the confidence and you have to make a step, you know, that's kind of when the leadership, I think, comes in. And you know, you want to hold your game at a high level, and it allows everything else to you know, fall into place, I guess. So it was, you know, one way for me to do that was to put the work in and be prepared coming into training camp, be prepared for games, and go from there.
Are there any, so now as a leader in the Stars locker room, are there any young guys that you see in your locker room or even around the league that you're excited about?
I mean, yeah, obviously Jason Robertson, you know, he had a great year. He's been good. You know, he's a gamer. Yeah. I think you know, he shows up, he wants the puck, he wants to make plays. Rupe Hintz, you know, my couple line mates that I see right there. And then you got like Miro, you know, quiet, but there's no questions he's going to compete when he's out there, and he's got a tremendous skill set, and he wants the puck. He wants it in big situations. So that's great to see. You know, and it was simple as I was maybe 2 years ago now already. I was with Rupe, and I wasn't very good for a couple weeks, month. I was getting a little frustrated, and it's, you know, we're down by a goal, and we're on a 2-on-1, and he, you know, slides one over, and I missed the shot, and I come back to the bench, and you know, frustrated, and he's like, yeah, like let's work for the next opportunity. And then that's what, you know, I'd say to him earlier in the year, during the season. It was just like a little reminder, and I was like, yeah, you know, the game's full of mistakes. I always kind of say you need probably 3-4 good opportunities to have a goal or two that night. So you just kind of flush it and work for your next opportunity, and it goes a long way at the end of the night when you can do that in the first period, the second period, and the third period, and you might not get something to the end, and sometimes it'll be a big goal, and sometimes it'll get you back in the game, and but just that focus, that mentality, and I was like, you know, that's great. You know, these kids in Dallas, I think they got some great heads on them. You know, they want the puck, they want to compete, and you know, it's been a great place to play.
Yeah, it's cool to see some of those leadership qualities passed down to a guy like Rupe and passing it on to you during a game.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. You know, you expect a lot out of them, especially where the game's at. There's a lot of young kids, and skilled players, and it's good if they can, grasp that at an early stage.
Yeah, and so kind of wrapping up your hockey career, because I want to dive into some Torch Pro things, but what moment, you've had a lot of good individual accolades, been on some great teams, but what moment in your hockey career are you most proud about?
Most proud about what moment? You know, it's just showing up every night, trying the consistency for me is a big part, and um, I feel like I have to be on my game every night to be satisfied. So the consistency part, but it's always been fun to represent your country. In the Olympics, Sochi and Vancouver were two awesome things. The World Cup, awesome experiences, but the Cup finals, they're so much fun to play in. The playoffs. I think something I've been on some good teams and been in the playoffs more years than not. Those journeys are pretty special. Is there one? I don't think there's one that you can pinpoint, because there's a lot of help and a lot of people in your corner along the way that give you these opportunities.
Yep. No, I think that makes sense. Kind of your whole career tied
Yeah,
together.
I mean, overtime goals. There's nothing like an overtime
Yeah.
goal in the playoffs. It's those are pretty special as well.
Right. And so now diving into Torch Pro, right? So a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years now, Company 39 was founded. You and your partner and good friend Matt Fornataro kind of kicked off the company, and you had this kind of dream to set out to inspire the next generation. So was that really the passion, and was that the foundation and inspiration for starting Company 39?
That was the foundation. Matt came to me with the idea, and I liked the idea because I was always trying to figure out how to shoot a puck like Brett Hall, how to get a little faster, and it goes back to you don't get to where you are by yourself. There's gonna be a lot of moments where you're putting the work in by yourself and doing this, but you need your teammates, you need your coaches. I've always feel like I've been super fortunate with the coaches I've had, and each one is, kind of instilled something different, or I've been able to learn something from them, or, so those are big things. And it was just about how do you share that, and how do you get a little bit of information? How do you connect, fans, kids with some of their favorite athletes, and how do you learn from each other in those experiences? And you've seen it over the years, from a lot of different outlets, and that's why I think sports in general is just they're so skilled right now. Whether it's the golfers, football players, the athletes in general are, there's some elite level performance out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of simultaneously, while you're giving this access to your career and everything you do beyond the ice to these kids, you're also simultaneously building your own personal brand, right? So it's been cool to see your transformation over the years, and kind of starting out with no Instagram and kind of working that up to now having an Instagram and a presence with great content. So was there a goal with you and Matt when you first started with your own personal brand?
I don't know if there's really a goal. It was, it's kind of step out of the box. I've always been very humbled, and you don't want to put yourself out there too far. That's a internal feeling you have, just because you understand it can be taken away in a hurry, and you don't want to jeopardize anything, but you also want to share with people, some of your experiences, how you can get better. You want to learn from each other. I think that's probably the goal, and then just have a good time with it. Nothing's too serious. Something I learned along the way is you can't please everybody. So you just got to let things roll off, and share what you can, have fun with it, and don't take yourself too serious.
Yeah, I think you've done a great job of being authentic throughout the process and not trying to be someone else that you're not. So I think that's super important when going about the personal brand build process.
Yeah, I think so. It's things don't work out when you try too hard, probably, and it's like that in everyday life. It's like that in sports. It's an important piece, definitely.
Yeah, and so now over the years, so that was 4 or 5 years ago, about 2 years ago now, we kind of merged Morning Blitz, which was my sports newsletter, with Company 39, rebranded the company to TorchPro, and now building this holistic media company with a watch bucket that has video features, docuseries like what you did with Path to the Pros, which we'll get into. We have podcasts like Speaker Mind, hosted by Riley Shea and Tyler Smith, and then the Morning Blitz newsletter as well, with some other content in there as well. But yeah, it's been an awesome transition. I guess for you, was that an exciting shift, kind of the rebrand and bring the Morning Blitz underneath the company?
Yeah, it has been. In the team at TorchPro and all the branches there, they've done a tremendous job. They've brought a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and I think every year we've just kind of layered it, and it's been building. And You're feeling the momentum with it. You're feeling the access. You're seeing it, and it's growing. And that's all you can ask for is to keep growing. It's when I look back at my kind of career and trying to get better. There's months where you're like you're not seeing a lot of gains, and then all of a sudden it just kind of clicks one day, and you're at another level. And but it's how do you stay focused, stay consistent, and have that belief that you're going to get there. And it's been no different with TorchPro and adding it, and you've experienced it, and you're just trying to keep building it and growing and having fun along the way.
Yeah, it's been an awesome journey for me. And one of the things I'm most proud about and kind of the process of it all is like we kind of expanded from Joe Pavelski to a few other guys in the NHL to now working across different sports like
Yep.
the NBA with George Niang, in the NFL, lacrosse, UFC. So it's been really cool to see that shift of like growing to just beyond hockey.
Man, it's been awesome, and I think I remember that car ride. When Maddie and I jumped in the car from Wisconsin, drove out to San Jose, and we talked a lot about that stuff, and we didn't know how to put it all together in buckets and figure it all out. But those were always the talks, like, why wouldn't this work with golf? Why wouldn't? And you see it in other areas, other media outlets. They're doing it, and they do a tremendous job with it. But it's fun to experience because everybody, at the end of the day, game doesn't change a whole lot. It's certain days you have a great mindset and the body's working and you can piece it all together, and it's how do you get to that level and stay there. And I remember how do we get into other sports too, and there's definitely an area for it, and it's better when I think you can blend them all together.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see like our docu-series with George Niang, the Niang time. That was a super cool execution, really fun. He's one of the most
Yeah.
undiscovered best personalities in sports, I like to say, and that project was awesome. But so your own docu-series, Joe, Path to the Pros, right? So
Yep.
how was that experience for you? Was it tough, a little uncomfortable? Was
Yeah.
it easier than you
A
thought?
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And you look back and you're like, oh, I would have liked to share this in it or that, and there's so much stuff that you try to jam in there and share, and kind of get it out there where the experiences that you've felt, and they're personal, and it's funny how you start talking about things and old stories come out, and things that you forget, but your old coach or mom or dad, they remember, and the impact it had on them, or what they said to you kind of really hit home, and there were some pretty cool moments during it.
Yeah, it's really an inspiring docu-series. I think everyone should check it out, but it really highlights your journey from small town Wisconsin to NHL superstardom, and it's great. So, yeah, I want to congratulate you on a great career and like diving into this process, building a company, not easy while you're still playing. So it's been cool to see from my point of view.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Go right back to it, having great people around you and getting to work.
Yeah, we're gonna keep growing, partner with some cool athletes in different sports. But I want to dive into some golf. So why you're in Lake Tahoe right now is for this golf tournament. You're pretty good. It's a big part of your life. But so when did kind of the golf itch start for you?
Man, it was, mom and dad, they're not golfers. They just kind of, I think I was 9 or 10. They asked if you want to do the Friday lessons at the public course. And so we did that, and you play your 3-hole tournament at the end. And that turned into a summer membership and getting dropped off the course, kind of early and playing, and mom pick you up at 1, and just kind of going there. And I actually love baseball as well, for summer sports, baseball and golf. And in 9th grade, freshman year, you kind of picked whether I was going to play golf or baseball, and I went the golf route, and I loved it. It was great. And our summers, they line up great playing hockey, where you get enough time to get out and work on the game and get a bunch of rounds in with the buddies. And it's just an awesome area to compete and kind of stay competitive. And it's totally different. You're obviously, there's more team members in golf, but it's kind of you and the ball in the course and trying to figure it out that day and where the swing's at. And for me, it's something I enjoy, and it's a game of struggle, definitely at times.
Yeah, I've just started playing, and I'm getting there. I'm all right. I'm in the mid low 90s, high 80s right now, but I'm working on it. But when did that kind of transition flip for you, when you were not so good to being really damn good and having a chance to like win tournaments like this?
In high school, I was, as you're on the golf team, you're like, and you're playing in the tournaments, you're getting out of school, and at the end, and you're playing tournaments, you're competing, you want to be good. It's just a competitive spirit I think I have, and you want to be good and you want to put a little time in, and you can hit shots in certain times, and you can hit it. It's just whether you can pull it off. And um, when I don't know. There's times where I still suck, and there's times where I think I'm pretty good, and um, so I don't know if there's one time or there. You just always the end of the season happens, and you're trying to get your game as good as you can, as fast as you can.
Yeah, same thing as building TorchPro, right?
Yeah,
Day by day.
day by day.
And so it can be like a mentally challenging sport. So I've heard a lot of athletes in other sports talk about how golf as a hobby has made them a better athlete in their sport. Have you seen that at all with transitioning from golf making you a better hockey
Yeah,
player?
I've thought about that a little bit. As you asked that question, I definitely can relate.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of frustration. And it kind of, when I look at hockey, it's like you have good shifts, you have bad shifts. Out there, you can just, you're frustrated. You can just kind of, go try to finish a check. You can just go to the net and, try to get to a spot where the puck's going to come and figure it out. Golf's, you hit a bad shot, you got to go find it and try to figure it out from there, and try to, slow things down, get your shot back, your swing back. And, so it's good. It's humbling. There's nothing like, kind of first tee shot in a tournament in competitive golf. It's amazing how this sport can do it to you. And, some of my most nervous times are probably standing on the first tee. Your name's getting announced, and you're trying to hit that ball.
You more nervous in a NHL shootout or first tee of the ACC?
First tee.
Yeah.
For sure. That you've been playing in the shootout, so but kind of the mindsets in the shootout for me, it's like, all right, let's go. Make a good shot. Don't worry about what happens. Like, make a good shot. And I've been, successful, I think, for the most part in that. And, I've scored a decent amount in those shootouts. And, first tee tomorrow morning, Friday, we'll stand up there, and the mindset will be like, all right, don't try to worry about what's going to happen. Try to execute a shot and go from there.
Well, good luck. I think it's your year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Last part about golf here is like one of my favorite parts about golf is the relationship building, right? And the people you meet in the game and can build those kind of networks. So what are some of the most exciting or like close people to you that you've met through the game of golf?
Just looking at this tournament, there was a round, I think, played with Rogers and stuff. It was at Curry. That was a fun round. The Marty Fish, Mulder, Lowe, all these guys. We've got to play a lot of fun rounds out there, and kind of, we were out playing with, I think it was Marty Fish, myself, and Wakefield last year, and Marty asked a question about throwing the knuckleball, and if you had it in warm-ups or not, and how do you throw it, these types of things. And it's fun to hear those types of experiences and, see the grip and see how he does it. And those are the cool relationships and the things you get to build on.
Yeah, and it's cool to see like golf brings everyone from every sport, every background together, and it's easy to kind of connect.
Yeah, and we're all feeling the same out there, and we're all trying to just excited to be here competing and trying to, make a few birdies along the way.
Exactly. So some rapid fire here, and then one final question to wrap it up. But we can do one word, one answer. You can take as long as you want. We'll dive right into it.
Okay.
So who was your favorite athlete growing up as a kid? You kind of
favorite athlete,
earlier.
Brett Hall and Tiger Woods.
Yep. Favorite athlete to watch in current day sports?
We don't get to see him enough, but Tiger Woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. He's electric.
It's great. He makes those birdies. He gets rolling. Everybody, you're just cheering for him.
He committed to the Open Championship, so
Yeah.
I'm excited for
We're
that.
pumped to see it.
Yeah. What's the favorite club in the golf bag?
Favorite club? Oh man, I gotta go 60 degree. Yeah, love when you get a chance with the wedge in the hand.
Little flop shot.
Yeah, around the green. That's what I use all the time, and it's fun to get in tight and hit a good one.
Who's your favorite music artist?
Music artist. I spend a lot of time listening to country music, and I loved Kenny's old stuff.
Me too. I'm Kenny Chesney old
Yeah,
stuff. That's my pick.
It's good stuff.
He's the best. What's the best place you've ever traveled?
Best place, probably Hawaii. It's when we were in San Jose out there, we tried to get out there whenever we could, so made it out there a few times, and it was always perfect out there.
What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear?
I'm spiders.
Yeah, spiders.
Snakes.
You know, I do not like snakes.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's a weird. I've grabbed them a couple times, but just like it's something when you look at them, you don't know how they're moving. You don't really know if they're going to strike or not, and I could go without those.
Last rapid fire. What is one word that best describes you?
Passionate, I think.
Well, thank you for the time today. We're going to finish up with our final question of the day, the Roback question of the day. So use Torch20 for 20% off your first order at Roback.com. Roback's all we wear. It's the best feel, best fit. I got the performance hoodie on. It's a game changer. You'll be rocking some Roback at the ACC this summer and on the course other places. But yeah, so head to Roback.com, Torch20 for 20% off, and get your order today. So last question. What is one piece of advice that you could pass along to the next generation that you've learned throughout your journey to help them accomplish their dreams in everyday life?
Be a good person and have fun with it and put the work in.
Yep.
I mean, just get out there, have fun, work, and see where it takes you.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the time, and go crush it this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed the content. There's plenty more Pass the Torch episodes, along with other podcasts we got going on and video series we do. So subscribe, and we'll see you later.